Okay, so today we're gonna be just reviewing some common spelling errors, some misspelled words, confused words, just a little bit to kind of sharpen spelling skills. Some of y'all this should be pretty easy, something you fly through. For some of y'all this may be a good refresher. It may be informative. So there's pretty much three main topics we're gonna be looking at. The first one we're gonna start off. We're gonna be talking about putting suffixes on words ending in Y. The second one, we're going to be looking at plural words that we're going to add the suffix with S or ES. And then number three, we're going to look at commonly confused words. So something like, there's two, and two. There's three different forms of the word two. So just for example, we're going to look at that. But we're just going to go through these three, and hopefully it'll be a good refresher. So like I said, number one, we're starting off with suffixes. We're adding suffixes onto the ends of words that end in the letter Y. So like I said, I have them written out here on the right. We have funny, carry, and beauty. Just a few different examples. If you have a word like this that ends in a Y, and you're trying to add a suffix to it, your suffix is a little tag on the end of the word changing the meaning. If you're adding a suffix, you're going to change your Y to an I and add the suffix. Like I said, we have funny. So we're going to change the Y to an I, and add our prefix, EST. So funny becomes funniest. And like I said, that's all we did was change that Y to an I, and then add the little tag on the end. That changes it. It would be the same carry. We would write it out, change that Y to an I, add our prefix. That would become a carrier. Beauty, it would be the same. We would change the Y to an I, add your suffix. So beauty becomes beautiful, carry becomes carrier, funny becomes funniest. For all of them, we drop the Y, change it to an I, added the prefix. Now there are, just like anything, there are a few exceptions. One of them is the suffix ing. If you have anything like ing, you're just going to keep the Y on your word. So if we did carry, it would just be carrying. It would be carrying. Carrying, how about studying, like studying, study to studied. And so, yeah, like I said, it's not a word because study, it's the ing. We keep the Y, add ing. But for study, for any other prefix, it would work like normal. We would drop the Y and add our prefix, or add our suffix, I mean. So it does matter. It's not just catch-all. It does matter for that ing. And then kind of another word that meets the exception would just be play. For plays, player, played, you would not add an I. You would just keep the Y and just add your prefix. So play is an exception, and then the ing is an exception. And so number two, we have plural words with suffixes. So this is kind of the S versus ES. Yeah, sometimes it's different. Like I said, for tree, we just have a tree, but then we have plural, we have multiple trees, we just add an S to it. It just stays the same. But then if you have something like a box, you have one box, but then a plural, you would add an E. It becomes box ES. So what's the difference? What changes box and tree? What's the difference between those two? And so pretty much if your word ends in S, CH, SH, SS, X, or Z, you're gonna add an ES. So if you said like school buses, CH, trenches, sashes, classes, boxes, quartzes, I mean, it could be anything. Your hair brushes would be ES. And then pretty much anything else, anything other than that would have an S. That was kind of straightforward. Just if you have a word ending in any of these, and you can write this down. I don't expect you to remember every little combination if a word ends in this. You can write this down if you need to. But if your word ends in one of those formats, you're just going to add ES to make it plural. And at number 3, we have just some commonly confused words. These are some that people may not realize they're using incorrectly because they are so similar. And if you're just speaking them, they sound the same. Like if I said there, and there, they all sound the same, but they mean very different things. THERE is like over there. You know, I'm talking about over there, so it's talking about a place. But then THEIR is like theirs, it belongs to them. It's their vehicle. It's their house. I mean, it could be anything. THEIR belongs to them. But then if you have THEY apostrophe RE, that just means they are. You know, the apostrophe is like a contraction saying there's something missing here. There's a letter we took out just to kind of make it a shorter word. So they are becomes just there. And then the same with two and two. TO is like going to. I'm going to Walmart, or I'm going to do that. Then there's TOO, which is like saying too many. That's about the amount. And that's how I always remembered it. If it's got more O's than the other two, so it's just too much. We got too many O's. And then TWO is just the number 2. R and our. ARE is like saying we are or they are. But OUR is our. It belongs to us. It's our house. BREAK is like to destroy, to drop something. But then BRAKE is like to slow a vehicle. WRIT is what I've been doing. You know, you're writing it out. You're writing something. But RIGHT would be to correct. It's correct. It's the right answer. Or it's, you know, it's not left. It's right. So WRIT is like writing something out. RIGHT is correct or right-handed. But that's pretty much it. I mean, that's just kind of some common issues. So hopefully y'all took something away from this. If you didn't already know it, hopefully this was a good refresher. And hopefully these are some errors that you don't really make as often after you watch this.